Welcome to the remote start video for programming your 2011 through 2013 Caprice. Today I'll be showing you what you need and the steps you need to take in order to get it programmed. So the mandatory items for this are going to be your VCX Nano. And what this is it connects to your OBD port and then to your computer. And this allows you to send the programming to your car that will allow it to have automatic headlights, interior dome light active, and remote start. The next option you'll need this lower portion of the remote. As you see, it is two separate pieces, so you can just order the button section. However, I've opted for the whole key because I like a flip key. And what this will do is it gives you your remote start button instead of the standard 3-button option. An optional piece is a hood latch. So this can come from a Pontiac G8 or they sell it new at Chevrolet. And you already have the other end, the male end of this connector in your car. But what this does is this plugs in and it just lets the car know the hood's closed. So as you see, there's 3 wires here. If you don't want to spend the however much money these are when you watch this video and find it, you can actually just take these wires and tap 2 of them together and it will jump it. Not on this side, of course. On your car, you can take the 2 wires, connect them together, and then the car will read that the hood is closed at all times, and it's the same thing. So you don't necessarily need that unless you want the whole complete package. Once you get your VCX Nano, it will come with a USB drive. You're going to pop it in and install all the programs it comes with. The main 2 programs you need are Tech to Win and VX Manager. And what we're going to do after that is we're going to go on to the lovely internet once everything's installed. And there we go. This is AC Delco TDS. This is GM's software they used for loading the software onto your car. So what you're going to do is you're going to create an account for AC Delco, and then you're going to be able to access this utility. You have to agree to the terms and conditions. And then what you do is you're going to buy your VIN. And with this VIN, it's going to be $45. So let me scroll down. Is this top one that says Service Programming SPS2. And then you just need to do 1 vehicle. Well, technically, you'll need to do 2 vehicles. So I'll explain that later. But for now, just do your vehicle. 1 vehicle added to the cart and purchase it. Once you purchase it, you'll be able to come up here and you have your cars that you're registered. So it doesn't matter which one you click on, but just click on one of your VINs you have registered, and it's going to take you to this portal. You're going to download the software it gives you, and it will go ahead and install this. Now here's what I want to show you. This page is online. There we go. So this is Opal, our wonderful British cousin's website. And what it does is it allows you to input any VIN, and it acts just like this TechLine Connect program is going to act, except it doesn't do the programming. So the reason this is important is because you can get the calibration numbers. What we did here is we just ran through a basic BCM simulation program, removing the option that makes it so your dome light doesn't come on, and removing the option to where your automatic headlights aren't working. And this is going to show us all the files that your SPS would download. So here's all the files your SPS would download in order to install it onto your BCM. So here's where it gets kind of complicated if you want to add remote start to a non-remote start car. So I want you to look at all these files. Now the most important ones we need to just manage here are going to be your theft calibration, because that's what is controlled for remote start, and the architecture calibration. So when you're changing one of these files, the architecture changes as well. So the important part with this here is that you recognize that if you're going to install remote start, you're going to need a VIN that has remote start, because you need to go ahead and pull those 2 file numbers from it. And you're going to need a VIN that doesn't have remote start, and they have to be set up in the same manner. So let's go ahead and just take the last 2 of these, 46 and 78, and this is our remote start VIN. So now we're going to redo this whole process with a non-remote start VIN just to show you how this is done. So this is what you do on this Opal website where you can simulate a programming session. So we're going to go ahead and paste this non-remote start VIN now, which will get our calibration ID. Now we're programming the body control module. We're doing the programming of it. It is a Chevrolet police patrol vehicle. And this is always going to confuse people, so I want to explain it real quick. It says switch dome lamp door jam inoperative. That it kind of reads reverse. We don't want it inoperative, so we hit no. It's not yes, we want to remove it. It's no, we don't want it inoperative. So we're removing that feature to get our dome lamp back on. And then same thing with this, it's backwards. We're taking off the option where the daytime running lights and the auto headlamps are deleted. So we're going to go ahead and choose the minus option there. And that's going to give us our calibration number. So this is your standard BCM reprogram if you were to do it without getting it. So remember how we had for the architecture calibration number, we had a 5.8, I believe it was, and the theft was a different number as well. I think it was 7.0, but don't quote me. So those are the two files that are different. So now you're asking yourself, okay, well, I see that there's two different files, one with the remote start, one with not. How do I get that remote start onto the one without? Well, first of all, you have to recognize all these files are not VIN tied. So you can mix and match these files. It just has to be the same year of car, the same engine, and you have to build it in the same way. So you can't mix one of these that have and 7.6 and VVS enabled. It won't mix. You'll screw things up. So if the VIN of your car has the same exact build and the VIN of a car that has remote start has the same exact build, you can extract those two files from their downloads and then change the name of the file to your file and dump it in your downloads, and it will write with it. And now you have remote start. That's a mouthful. So let's go ahead and break it down for you. This is the part where I start dancing in front of the camera. Just kidding, just kidding. So now we're going to TechLine Connect. This is where you actually do your work. So as you see, I have my same VINs, one with remote start, one without. So we'll just open up to simulate exactly what you just saw on the simulation website from Opal, but now we're doing it in real life. So here's where your VX diag is installed, and we're going to go ahead and plug it in. And that's what we're going to be using for this session. So we're going to choose our VCX Nano and continue. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go down here to next, and it's going to read the VIN. Now we're not hooked into a car, but when you're hooked into a car, this will obviously work a lot different. Now, just like you looked on the Opal website, we have the same exact setup. We're going to go ahead and go into our body control module. We're going to choose programming, and we're going to choose normal. So now we're going to hit next, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to choose -7Y6 and -VVS. And we're going to leave it as a Chevrolet police patrol vehicle. All right. So now we're going to hit next. And this is where it's going to download all your files. For me, it's going to error out since I'm not hooked up to a car. So it's going to download all your files, and then it's going to start writing the BCM immediately. So you're going to have to write this twice. It's okay. The first time to download your files, and then the second time it's going to re-download the files, and right before it starts writing, you're going to dump the new files in. So it's kind of like a racing game. So yeah, as you see, it doesn't do this. So once it downloads your files, you're going to go into your folder. You're going to go into your PC, local disk. All right. Then you're going to go to users. You're going to go to yourself or whoever you're logged into doing this. You're going to go down to SPS because that's the program we're using. And then you're going to go to your catch. And then you're going to go to your internal catch there. Now mine is going to be empty. but yours is going to have all those files we saw before listed. So you're going to leave this window open, and you're going to either pull it over to the side or whatever you need to do to where you can have SPS open in one screen and your catch open. The last thing you'll need are those two files that were different from the remote start VIN. You're going to rewrite the same BCM program, and right after you see it download, you're going to copy those files with the name being the same as your VIN into the catch, and then it's going to rewrite your VIN and your BCM, and you're going to have remote start partially. You still have to do 2 more steps. So after you do this file swap process, what you're going to do is you're going to go to SPS, and there's 2 more modules we have to reprogram. So the first one we're going to go to, and you can simulate this on the Opal website, or you can, I'm just showing you through the actual SPS at this point. The first one you're going to do is your immobilizer, and then the second one is your remote actuator. Remote function actuator. Jeez, that's a tongue twister. Say that a couple times. All right, same thing, programming normal. So now for your RFA, it's going to want your country of registration, obviously an easy answer. And it's going to ask, do you have remote start? Yes, we do. So now you're going to program your remote, this is what's going to turn your key fob into a remote start key fob. Because if you just go and program this, this is going to pop your trunk. But now you're going to program this. It's going to do the remote start if you have your hood latch jumped. You also have to go and do the immobilizer, which let's go ahead and simulate that as well. So there's the immobilizer, programming normal, remote start engine, yes. All right, so that's the 3 things you're gonna do. BCM, swap the 2 files, immobilizer, yes to remote start, and then the RFA, yes to remote start. After that, your remote start will work, your headlights will be automatic, and your door lamp will work. Except there's one issue. When you reprogram your BCM, it loses communication with your airbags and your brake pedal. So now we have to fix that. So we're going to leave the TechLine Connect program. And we're going to close all this junk because we're done with it. And now we're going to use our Tech to Win program. This is a great program for clearing any errors on your car. This is very confusing. You are going to use North American. Always use North American. It is not a Holden Export. It is not a Chevrolet. When this comes up, you're going to go ahead and choose this, and then it's going to ask which connection you want to use. We're using the USB, which is our VCX Nano. All right, when we get here, we're just gonna follow what it says. So you can use this virtual keypad with your mouse, or I like to use the hard key, so I'm just gonna click enter. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do diagnostics on a car. We just did a 2011. It's a passenger car, it's a Chevrolet, and we're gonna use Class M. This will be the same for 2012 and 2013. All right, the first thing we need to go into is we need to go into the body. The first thing we're gonna do is we're going to go into the body control module. We're going to do a module setup, and we're going to do a BPP sensor calibration. So we're going to hit this, and it would go ahead and calibrate on your car. And once we're done, we're going to exit. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to go down here to the supplemental inflatable restraint. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a module setup. We're going to choose to set up the new SDM. That's going to reset up all your airbags to match your car. And once it does that, we need to set up the primary airbag and key. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter on that, and it's going to program. So that's going to fix those 2 errors, but now we need to clear the errors. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the vehicle control systems. We're going to choose our engine. So now we're going to go to the DTC information and the display. To a car, it would read through all your modules, and you'd have a bunch of different, oh, it's letting me do it, even though we're not hooked up to a car. That's great. Oh yeah, no communication. So yeah, see, it just goes through, and it's going to go ahead and read all your modules. And what you would do here is you'd basically get some errors. So where it says no communication, you'd basically get like 1 error or 9 errors or 20 errors. It doesn't matter how many errors it is, because we're going to clear them all out. So let's see if once this is done, if I can just simulate how it would look clearing the errors. What you're going to do is, once this is done, theoretically, you would just click on each module, hit enter, and then you'll get a white cleared ECU data button. And you just go through each module, you hit enter, and you hit clear ECU error, and then you'll be zeroed out of all your errors. If they're still saying error, if there's still errors after you've cleared it out, you got to go back in and clear it. Otherwise, you'll be stuck with those errors. Now, after you clear out the errors, do not reread the DTC information, because you'll still have those errors. Just clear them out once, and once it's cleared out, you can go ahead and get out of the Tech to Win program, and then you can go ahead and start your car. You'll still have 2 errors on your car for the next 20 miles of your drive. It will be your ABS light and your traction control. But after you complete a 20 to 25 mile drive, those lights will kick off, and you're successfully programmed. That's literally it. That is how you do a program of your BCM. If the whole file swapping thing was too hard, you can still just do a standard BCM swap. But if you're able to locate the files online, which I don't recommend, if someone posted out there, that's technically piracy because they're owned by GM and shouldn't be anywhere on the internet. But if you have a friend that's able to provide it to you as a one-time use or whatever, or if you guys can get together and they program their car because they want auto headlights and their interior door light, and they have all their files and they're willing to share those 2 files with you, so you don't have to rebuy a VIN and try and get the files somehow, that's how you'd get that taken care of.